Welcome into another episode of Mood Swings with Liv Moods. I am Liv Moods, and as always, this is presented by Landmark Lincoln. Shout out to our friends over at Landmark Lincoln. Make sure you head to their location off of Bellevue and Broadway to figure out why they have been the #1 Lincoln dealer in Colorado for as long as they have. I say it every single show. I'm going to say it again. I'm the proud new owner of a 2025 Lincoln Nautilus and could not love my car more. So like I said, head to their location, see what they have to offer, and maybe join the Landmark Lincoln family. Enough about vehicles, though. Let's get into the show. We are going to get into all things basketball for the most part. I think I've got a couple of things I want to say about football, but for the most part, it's a basketball heavy show, and I'm coming off of the tails of a basketball evening, actually. I went up north last night. We had the honor and the privilege of being present with McDonald's as they basically formally let Riverdale Ridge High School know that their very own Brianna Crittenton was getting the honor of playing in the McDonald's All-American game. She is an absolute superstar here in Colorado and one of the best, actually, one of the best high school basketball players in Colorado, male and female. Forget about it. She is amazing. She broke Chasa's all-time scoring mark on Saturday, passing Tracy Hill's tally of 2,934 points. That was standing for 43 years, and she just passed it. She is an absolute superstar. I believe she just committed to Texas to play basketball there. She has won state. Like I said, McDonald's All-American player. She really is one of one. 5-star athlete. Even cooler individual. I got to speak with her. We got to chat with her. We got to be there watching her teammates celebrate her family there. I mean, really such a huge accomplishment. Not only to be the athlete that she is, but also to be named a McDonald's All-American player. So it was such a privilege and an honor to be there with McDonald's to cover that. We've also had the privilege and the honor to work with McDonald's in terms of how they're involved in the community, which is a really, really cool thing. One of the biggest ones being the One Class at a Time. This is one of their charity programs where they give away $2,000 to a local classroom every 2 weeks. I have a mom that is a school teacher and has been for nearly 30 years. She's in her last year. Shout out, Mom. She's about to retire, but teachers are, to me, that's one of the most underappreciated occupations in the world. Teachers are so special. Classrooms need to be funded. So what McDonald's does to help fund classrooms every 2 weeks is amazing. We've had the privilege and the honor to work with them in filming these things and kind of showcasing how great McDonald's really can be. I am a huge McDonald's fan, not just the McDonald's All-American game, not just the One Class at a Time, but the food as well. Okay, I'm going to tell you the goated order from McDonald's. Here it is. Write it down. Hot and spicy, no mayo, extra lettuce, well done fries, and a large Sprite. Yes, I'm a McDonald's girl through and through, but truly, I think it's much easier to give a business my business when I know just how involved they are in the community and all the great things that they're doing. So yes, McDonald's All-American player in Brianna. She is one of one. It was such an honor and a privilege to be up there to watch that moment happen for her and to be able to celebrate such a huge accomplishment. She is joining the list of some of the most iconic players, NBA players, WNBA players ever by being a part of this game. So really, really cool, really, really special. It was it was such an honor to be there and be involved in that. And even more of an honor to be able to work with McDonald's and see all the things that they do within the community. The One Class at a Time is really a really, really special thing. And I don't know if many people know that they do that. Every 2 weeks, they are giving back to classrooms. I just think that's a really, really special thing. The local McDonald's owners out here in the Denver area are really some special people that do a lot for the community. So we're honored to be able to work with them whenever we can. And what a cool opportunity for Bree to be involved with the McDonald's All-American game. Want to get into some basketball stuff here as well. Just talking about things in general. First and foremost, I didn't have this as a part of my rundown actually, but I need to talk about it and I need to bring it up. Let me specifically read what I saw. Okay. As you guys know, big Russell Westbrook stan. Okay. That's not changing anytime soon. So just get used to it. But Nina Westbrook, Russell Westbrook's wife, received an email from a Joel Molina. Yeah, she didn't block your name out, and I'm so glad she didn't. You're a piece of effing bleep. Husband sucks too effing bad. Can't even get 10 points is pathetic. I hope you both die in a car crash, dumb bleep. Hi. This one's for the losers. If you're not a loser, keep scrolling. If you're a loser, listen up. Let me make it very clear. These athletes don't owe you a thing. Okay? You spend your free time watching the job that they choose to do and using it as entertainment. What a privilege it is to watch a player like Russell Westbrook and be able to be entertained by his game for so many seasons. 18, by the way. It's an honor and a privilege to be able to watch these athletes do what they do. They put their bodies on the line. Russell Westbrook has been for now 18 years. And because he couldn't score you 10 points and help you hit your bet, you thought it would be appropriate to reach out to his wife and threaten their life. You're so weird. I don't even think there's enough words in my vocabulary to describe what a loser you are if this is how you operate. And this is the problem. I actually love sports betting and what it's done for the community of fans where, after COVID, it was hard for us to feel connected. During COVID, it was hard for us to feel connected to our favorite team or player or whoever. And sports betting kind of gave us that opportunity. And what a cool opportunity it is. But it's a privilege to be able to bet on sports. And it's a privilege that can very quickly be taken away if you don't know how to handle it. Grow up. Grow up. I mean, it's actually embarrassing that there are grown adults out there that find this behavior appropriate or okay at all. And by the way, I am so thankful she didn't block your name out because I hope you struggle to get a job moving forward. I hope everybody knows how you speak to people. I want your name on full blast because you had the audacity to send the email. You should have the audacity to suffer the consequences. I think this is someone that should never be allowed inside a stadium ever again to watch any sporting event. If you are willing to threaten athletes and their family over a sports bet, you should not have the privilege at all to be at another sporting event ever in your life, ever, because you don't know how to act, because you get so worked up over a sports bet that it makes you want to threaten the family of an athlete. I mean, it's unhinged behavior. It's called mental illness. I hope you get better because this is just absurd. Sports betting is a privilege, and if we're not careful, it will be taken away. So if you enjoy sports betting, cool it. Take a deep breath, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Like, it's a little insane. These athletes don't owe you shit. Excuse my French. They don't owe you a thing. They don't. You don't have to watch them. You don't have to place a bet on their player prop, but you choose to. They don't owe you anything. Nothing. They owe their team something. That's their job. They don't answer to you. You are not their employer. You are not their boss. You choose to watch the NBA. So if you're choosing to give your views and your money to the NBA, then that's on you. These athletes don't owe you a thing. So to think in any world that it's appropriate to message a family member of an athlete and threaten not only the athlete, but the family member because your player prop didn't hit, you have mental illness. Seek help immediately. Okay? Great. Let's move on from that. We're going to stay on the subject of all things basketball today. I was going to talk a little bit about some football stuff, but we'll save that. We'll save that for another show. I want to talk about Denver for a second. I want to talk about Denver and the rough start to the second half of the season that we got from Denver just last night, losing to the Clippers. I think every team that knows what's good for them or just any team that is competitive and wants to win knows how important it is to come out of the All-Star break swinging. It is so important to come out of the All-Star break swinging. We're going to get into the NBA season as a whole. I've got some thoughts. And some hot takes. But it's really, really important to come out of the All-Star break and give it your all, right? We kind of know as NBA fans that you get a very different version of your favorite team, your favorite player following the All-Star break. It's kind of like lock-in mode. It's like, all right, second half, let's get serious, okay? What you don't want to do is drop to fourth in the Western Conference to a 27-28 Clippers team. You don't want to do that, but you did that. Denver, you did that. Why? I don't know. I think it's really easy in this moment to blame Jamal Murray, right? Game on the line, missing free throws. This is not the first time this has happened. In his All-Star season, we're seeing this quite a bit. He's been rough in the clutch, game on the line. I don't trust him unless it's versus the Lakers right now in this moment, which is crazy because you get Jamal Murray versus the Lakers. He's the most clutch player in the world. lately, not so much. Not so much in the final few seconds of games where he gets to the free throw line and it's literally do or die. We're not doing. We're dying. So I don't feel comfortable with the game on the line saying that Jamal Murray can win us a basketball game. I used to be able to say that. I can't say that right now. That being said, so I would say it's easy to look at that game right out of the All-Star break and say, Jamal, WTF. But we have to talk about Nikola Jokic. I love Nikola Jokic. Do I think the basketball we saw versus the Clippers and some of the games that we saw prior to the All-Star break are like worth having conversations of his legacy being affected and now all of a sudden he's not the best player? No, relax, chill. But I'm not overly pleased with what we're getting out of Nikola Jokic. And more than that, I'm not pleased what we're getting out of the Nuggets since Nikola Jokic came back. I'm just not. The Nuggets had a much stronger record without Nikola Jokic this season than they have since he returned from his injury. I don't love that. Now, here's the reality, though. I think what we're getting, and this is something that I think most of us were a little worried about, right? Like we knew when he came back, oh gosh, they're going to do that thing that they do where, they start to play complacent. They're less locked in and they rely on Nikola Jokic a little too much. That's its own separate issue. I want to talk about the issue of kind of this lackadaisical, messy basketball that Nikola Jokic is playing. I love Nikola Jokic. I love the Denver Nuggets. I am a ride or die Denver Nuggets fan, but I am also not going to pretend like what I'm getting from Nikola Jokic right now is enough. It's not. Let's call it what it is. I have to keep the same energy across the board. If SGA were to do that foul baiting nonsense at half court, I would freak out. Can't have it, Jokic. You're too good. Play ball. None of this flopping stuff. We're over it. Especially in a game where the ball is being turned over quite a bit. This is not the first time. I remember before the All-Star break versus the Grizzlies, 9 turnovers in one game for Nikola Jokic. Versus the Clippers, coming out of the All-Star break, 6 turnovers. He's ice cold from the three-point line. He's not the best version of himself offensively. And then defensively, he's kind of getting cooked right now. So here's the deal. There's a world where Nikola Jokic was not ready to come back yet. But he did. He did. He's back. So as far as I'm concerned, I need MVP caliber play from Nikola Jokic. Because if you returned, to me, that means you were cleared, you're good to go, you're ready to play. If you're not good to go, cleared and ready to play, then don't play. Because this Nuggets team, in my opinion, is now in a bit of an identity crisis. Why? Because before, for about a month there, they had to figure out who they were without Nikola Jokic. And I liked who they were without Nikola Jokic. Not because I didn't want Nikola Jokic out there, but I liked what we saw from this Nuggets team. I liked the way that they pushed themselves. I liked the way that you were able to see the value of other people that you otherwise wouldn't, because typically the game plan is let Jokic do it all. So when you removed Jokic from the equation, you got some really great basketball out of some of these guys that I don't think you otherwise would have if Nikola Jokic was healthy. Right? So they found this momentum. They found this identity without Nikola Jokic. Unfortunately, the injury bug got them. They got got. They got by the injury bug. Okay. So then you get Peyton Watson out, who was kind of the centerpiece of that non-Jokic identity. He was really crucial. He goes out. Jokic comes back. CB's back. Cam Johnson's back. You're getting guys back, but they're still very unfamiliar with what this identity looks like because they were really sure of themselves without a CB, without a Cam Johnson, without a Nikola Jokic, without an Aaron Gordon. They became really sure of themselves. Then you start trickling these pieces back in without, in my opinion, a good, proper game plan of, hey, we still want a guy like Tim Hardaway to do what he's been doing. We still want a Julian Strawther to be doing what he's been doing. We just want to plug some of these other guys back in to give these guys that have been pushing it and working and playing a little bit of a breather. But don't pull them back completely. Keep them involved. I think what happens when you have injuries that are so back and forth and who's in, who's out, your starting lineup is changing every other night, is it makes it really hard for this Nuggets team to get in sync. Your starting five can't get in sync right now because every night it looks a little different. That's hard. That's really, really tough. So I think the Denver Nuggets right now are in a bit of an identity crisis because they had to figure out who they were without Nikola Jokic. They liked what they were without Nikola Jokic, which is a little bit of a mind trick, right? It's like, wait a minute, Jokic is the best player in the world and our most valuable player, but we like who we are without him. A little confusing there, right? Then you get Jokic back and naturally it's like, well, then we should just be better because we're good without him. So when you plug him back in, it should just make things even better. It threw things off. It took them out of their sync, out of their rhythm. And it's a little chaotic right now because their best and most valuable player is also not playing his best. So not only did you plug him in and kind of disrupt their in-syncness, their chemistry, their rhythm, but you plugged him back in and he also isn't playing well. That's the truth. I love Nikola Jokic. He's playing messy. He's playing chaotic. He's turning over the ball a lot. He's ice cold from the three-point line. He's getting cooked defensively. These are all facts. I love Jokic, but these are the facts. So not only did him returning to the starting lineup disrupt the rhythm, but he's also not contributing in the same ways that he used to. So it's a tough spot. I think it's easy to look at a Clippers game and blame Jamal because with the game on the line, he has unfortunately come up short more than once this season. But I also watched the game as a whole and go, Jokic is a part of this problem right now, guys. So I said last week that I felt like we were this close. We were playing with fire. We were this close to the Denver Nuggets succumbing to the injuries that they have been dealt this season. And I'm a little worried we're getting there. Because like I said, following the All-Star break, the most important thing to do is to come out swinging. And they did not do that. So there's still time, but I got to tell you, I'm a little worried about the Denver Nuggets. I am. I'm a little worried that they're in an irreversible identity crisis right now, just given the nature of the injuries. That there is not enough time left in the season. If the injuries keep progressing this way, there's not going to be enough time in this season for them to solidify their identity ahead of the postseason because you can't be figuring out who you are in the middle of a 7-game series. Get real. You need to know who you are before the series even starts. Do the Denver Nuggets have enough time for that? We're in that second half stretch now. But do they have enough time given the fact that you still don't have AG back, you still don't have Peyton Watson back, and you have Jokic back, but not the Jokic we know and love? I don't know. I'm a little worried. Okay, quickly I want to talk about the potential for tanking to be a thing of the past, right? Per Shams, multiple sources with knowledge of the GM meeting that was recently had, as well as another committee meeting in late January, ESPN was told that the following concepts have been discussed in order to hopefully curb tanking. First round picks can be protected only top 4 or top 14 plus. Lottery odds freeze at the trade deadline or a later date. They are no longer allowing a team to pick top 4 in consecutive years and or after consecutive bottom 3 finishes. Teams can't pick top 4 the year after making conference finals. That feels a little targeted. I feel like that one's a specific one that could only hurt certain organizations with that rule. Lottery odds allocated based on 2-year records. Lottery extended to include all play-in teams and flatten odds for all lottery teams. Now, I think solving the tanking issue first starts with solving the lottery issue. I think it's funny, even if we're going to pretend like the lottery system is this like very fair and like structured system. It's not. It doesn't really ever seem like it's fair. So the lottery odds freezing feels like the most important change, in my humble opinion here. We know that it is virtually impossible to win and have a successful season or win a championship without a legitimate superstar. So when you make it clear that the worst teams in the league have the best chance at the most elite talent, you're going to get teams that want to be bad. You're going to get teams that are like, well, crap. We don't really have a superstar that we feel like we can win a championship with. And if being the worst is how you get the best, then I want to be the worst. I mean, it's a tough thing because you're wanting teams to not tank, but you're also kind of enticing them to a little bit. Okay. Some of the things that have been discussed that we don't know for sure if they're going to be, true. But some of the things that are being discussed to me feel feel like they're going to directly impact certain franchises. I look at what OKC has on the horizon in terms of picks. They're likely going to make the playoffs. They're likely going to make the finals, the conference finals for years to come. The Pacers are a team that has had to deal with this. So some of this feels like there's some intentional, maybe not digs at particular teams, but definitely is going to affect particular teams more than others. So that's why I say addressing the lottery to me is like probably the most important step. That should just be the priority at this point. But I do have a hot take. And we're going to end the show with this hot take, actually. I don't even really know if tanking is necessarily the problem. I think it's part of the problem, right? I do think tanking is an issue that needs to be addressed. Nobody wants to watch it. It's not good for business. Like, nobody wants to deal with it. More than that, though, I really feel like the issue that is involved with tanking, if I looked at every issue in the NBA or the things that I want to change or have fixed, it all kind of has the same underlying issue to me, and that's that the integrity of the sport of basketball has been compromised, in my humble opinion. And I think the reason it's been compromised is greed. I do. Greed from the players and greed from the league. Let me explain. The greed from the league is money. More games, more money, more tournaments, more all-star extravaganzas, more money. Better for business. What can we do to increase the viewership? How can we make more money? That is probably front of mind for Adam Silver at all times. Greed. I'm not mad at him for it. It's a business, right? 82 games to me is too much. Now, before you get upset, I am also fully aware that they have been playing 82-game seasons since 1967. I'm aware. So this isn't a matter of me feeling sorry for these $1 million, millionaire athletes. No, they can play 82 games. They're capable. That's not the point. I'm not worried about that. And before you say the injuries are a problem, I got to tell you, research has shown that in the 172-game season that we did have in the year 2020, exempt the COVID-related injuries, the illnesses of that season, they still had more injuries that year. And you could probably say, yeah, in the bubble season, they weren't getting the same training, the whatevers. But based on the one season since 1967 where we played 10 fewer games in the NBA, or we consumed 10 fewer games, the athletes were more injured than they were in the 82-game season. So I'm not even saying it's too many games because I want to protect their body. I want to protect the integrity of the sport. I want quality over quantity. And just like us NBA fans, I believe these athletes don't really start giving a crap until post All-Star break. You understand that is a week in October, a week in February, then that is all of November, all of December, all of January. We're getting 3 months and 2 weeks of basketball because they don't really start locking in until post All-Star break. What's the point then? What are we doing? When I watch the NFL, I know that every one of those 17 games matters. Every single one of them. I know I'm going to watch, likely, unless they're injured, my favorite player. I know they're going to be giving it their all. I know they're going to be giving me the highest level of football because that game matters. Technically speaking, do all 82 games matter? Yes. But do they actually? No, they don't. And you know that, and I know that, okay? The reality is we know that. I want the season shortened, not because of injuries and better health for these athletes, because like I said, we've been playing 82 games since 1967. So, if it's about the injuries and the this and the that, it's like, hey, we actually have better technology now than they did in 1967. So I'm not going to give these guys a pass and say, I'm not going to coddle them like they're babies. These are millionaires. This is their job. This is their sport. I'm not going to treat them like babies. They need to play the 82 games, right? That's not what I'm saying. But I want the quality to be better of these games. I want them to care about these games more. I want these athletes to treat each game like it matters more. The quality of the games, to me, should be better. And then you talk about like the technicalities of the game making the quality better. More rest in their bodies, to me, should produce better basketball. We hope and we pray, but that's the truth. We've had issues in the past with the load management, with stars being rested. You've got a kid that flew thousands of miles to watch his favorite player, and his favorite player's not playing. Why? Because he's resting. I just think you get better value out of the games if you have fewer of them. Each matchup means a little bit more. The rivalries mean a little bit more. I want to protect the integrity of the game. And I think greed is ruining this sport from a money perspective and from the perspective of we're kind of raising this entitled brat syndrome a little bit in the NBA, where these players have this instant gratification of, I want to win right now. I believe I deserve to win a championship right now. I'm going to go to a team until I can. That's not basketball. That's I want to win and I want to be a winner and I want to have a ring. So there's just greed within the sport, which is fine. I think greed is everywhere. Hell, I've got it. You've got it. That's normal. But I think less games to focus on the quality over the quantity, to me, would also maybe not help the tanking issue, but tanking to me is one problem of many. I think the main concern in the NBA for me is the integrity of the game being compromised. And I just think fewer games would help that. I do. I think it'll help the casual fan be a little bit more locked in to games because they feel a little bit more meaningful. You'll get the better viewership that way. So I know it maybe feels like to an Adam Silver who's trying to push this business that it's not a good idea because it's less money, but it might end up being more money because more people tune in to that nationally televised game that's going on because they get fewer of them. You get what I'm saying? I don't know. I think it's something that should be potentially looked at. You get these rested basketball players because they're having to play fewer back-to-backs or whatever the case. Rested basketball to me is better basketball. Maybe it's a little more aggressive. Maybe they're playing better. I hope so. The games mean a little bit more. I mean, there's just, to me, quality over quantity has never been a bad thing, ever. But in order to do something like this, I understand that there is a lot that has to go into it, right? The financial aspect of it, balancing that with the quality of the game would be a very difficult thing. I know that there have been conversations about, is it 72 games? Is it 62 games? I don't know. But all I do know is there's 3 months and 2 weeks of basketball from October till the All-Star break where I don't even think the players are as locked in as they should be because I know the fans aren't. We're waiting for post-All-Star basketball. We talk about it all the time. I think the players are no different. So to me, it's like 3 months of what? Like, boring. Anyway, I don't know. The integrity of the sport has been compromised and I would like it to be fixed. That's all. Anyway, that does it for today's episode of Mood Swings with Liv Moods. I'm Liv Moods signing off for now. We'll be back Monday ahead of the Nuggets-Celtics game. Yeah, that's right. I'm excited about that one. We'll chat about all things Denver Nuggets. We'll reconvene after the weekend. Thank you guys for tuning in. And as always, this has been presented by Landmark Lincoln. Shout out to Landmark Lincoln, who has their certified sales event right now. Make sure you check out their website. You get special APR rates. And like I said, I'm a proud new owner of a Landmark Lincoln vehicle, and I could not love it more. So join the family with me. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you on Monday.